So we are recording. So welcome everybody. Welcome to this testimonial video. I wanted to do this testimonial video with Dave because he's had great results, which is always handy. But also just to give you a bit of insight of what it really takes to drop body fat in today's world, and then also how to actually make it a part of your life so it doesn't feel like this all or nothing thing with dieting and dropping body fat and staying in shape, and how it doesn't actually have to completely take over your life if you do it right. So welcome, Dave. Thanks for joining us, bud. Appreciate you taking the time out to jump in with us, mate. So Dave, what I really want to do is start this conversation off with, so just go back to, before we were working together, mate, and just like let people know some of the typical problems day to day that you was experiencing when you tried dieting yourself, or the typical challenges that you're having psychologically in your own mind that might have been holding you back a little bit. So go ahead, go for it.
Sure. So I guess for me, I've been trying to probably get in shape for a number of years, and just doing probably what most guys do, just keep going to the gym, and you think the more you go, the better the results you'll have. And then understanding that nutrition plays quite a key part, but not really getting what that part is and how it all works. So I tried, for a while to get in shape. And then with the first lockdown we had back in, what was it now, sort of March, April time, plus my wife had a baby, just the usual things happen to guys. You've got a lot of weight. And then not really sure how to shift that other than, maybe I could eat less, but then, you read so much conflicting information, and you get so much different information from other guys, from the internet, from men's health, and all that sort of stuff. So not really sure what to do.
Yeah.
And not necessarily seeing results that I'd want to see with the amount of time I'm spending, for example, exercising, etc.
Yeah, which is a really important thing to think about, right, for everybody watching. So like you said, like the go-to thing is just like usually train harder, right? So exercise more and just like eat less, right? That's the typical advice, right? You need to slam yourself with exercise, and you just need to cut your food right down, right? And then that's the typical approach. And it's really important that you bring that up, because it doesn't have to be like that. Like, you don't have to use like brute force and just like overwhelming like restriction and just hammering yourself with stuff to actually get results, right? Which I've proven, and you've proven yourself, going through the process with us. So yeah, cool. So then obviously we jump on a call, right? So you reach out to me, and I reach back to you and say, and you're like, right, Matt, let's have a chat about all this. And then you're like, oh, Matt, I need to think about it. I'll get back to you, blah, blah, blah. And then you did jump in with us, right? Which I'm sure, were probably the right decision in the end. But tell everybody what it's kind of been like to actually work with us, right? And how that might have differed from the type of stuff that you've done previously.
I think probably there's a couple of things. So first of all, it's been really good, working with Matt. He's been brilliant at taking all the information and sort of, I guess, condensing it down to some of the key things that you actually want to know, and also the key things to actually physically make a change. But also, it's been like the weekly calls we have. It's been the regular chats I have with Matt as well, been really supportive. So I guess when I tried things in the past, you can start doing things, but then you're getting information from maybe your mates who aren't necessarily, or they might think they're experts, but they aren't experts necessarily in what they're doing. Or maybe they've tried things that work for them, which maybe don't work for you. So I think it's a really good way for me to lean on Matt's expertise, and then have a, not only goal, but also a way to get there.
Yeah, and like a predictable way, right? And like I say to everybody, Dave, you already know this anyway, but like the most important part of quote unquote dieting, and and being able to reach your body fat goals and all that, is really understanding yourself, right? So understanding how all that fits into you, like genetically, right? We've all got different metabolism. We've all got varying degrees of how much food we can eat and all that stuff. And like I say to everybody, that's the most important part. Once we've kind of figured that out, because that takes a bit of trial and error, like and once we've kind of got that, then it's about, right, how can we have an approach that is sustainable with your lifestyle, right? Because I know you've been a big advocate, and just like I am, and I think this is what I've passed on to you is, still being able to enjoy your social life, like still, having friends and family come around to your house and, and not feel like, oh, I'm quote unquote on a diet, right? You tell me, Dave. I mean, I feel like that's what you've done really well. You've been able to kind of like, although we've got one eye on the goal, you've also been able to say, right, I'm still going to enjoy social life. I'm still going to have people around for dinner and things like that. So tell me a little bit about that, mate, how you've kind of managed it within your lifestyle. Like you've got kids and all that, right? Which all matters. Like that all needs to be taken into consideration, right?
So I guess when I've tried things in the past, and you look online, you see these diets, some of which say they aren't a diet, but a lot of them involve some really strange ingredients, or you've got to, I don't know, try intermittent fasting, not eat for 18 hours and all that sort of stuff, which doesn't necessarily work when you've got to go out and work and you've got family and all the rest of it. So it's been really good to basically continue pretty much doing what I was doing before, but more of a just thought about what I'm eating, and an understanding of the impact it has. So I would say overall, there's not a massive change, which is to me been really good, and has meant that it's not going to be something radically different from what I was doing before, but it's actually having results, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, which is really important, mate, because what I see a lot of people doing is they're trying to change their life to fit a diet, right? So like with the whole intermittent fasting trend right now, like people are completely trying to change their whole like lifestyle to fit the diet instead of the other way around, right? Because the reality of it is the easier we make it for you and for me and for everybody else, the easier you make it for yourself, the more likely you're going to be able to stick to it, long term, right? Like, how long is it you've obviously joined our 16-week program, but how long is it since you joined our?
I think it's been 12 weeks, so about 3 months.
Weeks. Yeah, perfect. Which leads us nicely onto your results, mate, because at the end of the day, dude, like it's all about getting results, right? Like all that stuff's great and everything, but without the results, then, it doesn't really matter. So just share, obviously I know roughly kind of what's going on with you, but share with us sort of like what type of results you have or you've had in terms of, fat loss.
It's been really good actually. So I think initially I lost a massive amount of weight in the first few weeks, which isn't the intention of what you do, Matt, obviously.
Yeah.
But that was quite interesting to see. And then it's been gradual, which really is where I want it to be. But now I've lost in 12 weeks 1 stone 8, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And definitely on track to where I need to be. So it's been really good, and it's been great to just track those results and then have conversations about them as well to see both up and down where things are. That's not actually very typical. Like somebody like yourself, Dave, like that, I do see that every now and again, but it's not that typical for somebody to like for their weight to drop that quickly, in the first couple of weeks. But I always say, like, we'll take it, right? Like if that happens and we're still enjoying food and, you've got plenty of energy, and all that stuff, then we'll take it. Do you know what I mean? Like that gives you the momentum then to carry on, when it does start to slow down a little bit, right? Because then first couple of weeks, as you know now, like you're going to go through a bit of glycogen, a bit of water weight, all that stuff. But then once you're in that position, we know you're positioned nicely to get that 1 to 2 pound of fat loss per week, going forward. And I know for you, we've not at this point, we've not had to go below like 2,300-400 calories a day, right? Yeah.
Yeah, which
which is good, because
is
I don't think
like
that
a
would work for
solid
very long.
amount of food, right? And
Yeah.
and we're still dieting you down up to this point. We'll probably go up to 2 stone past that, and kind of see where you want to take it from there. But yeah, dude, I mean, just an incredible job, mate. I'm super pleased that you came in the end. I know it took a bit of thinking for you, but yeah, it's been really good to see your progress, mate. And yeah, is it just to kind of finish off, Dave? What would you share with, without it being too much of a pitch for my services, like what like one or two or three pieces of advice would you share for people, that might be struggling right now, that, have got a lot more body fat that they want, and, they kind of just can't seem to figure things out? Like what pieces of advice would you give, mate, do you think?
I guess for me, it's been just keeping it really simple. Top level, the more you eat, or the more calories you have, the bigger you'll be.
Yeah,
So just keeping things really simple first of all, and just tracking things has been, I guess, key to my success as well.
yeah,
For example, I didn't know how many calories a lot of things were. So you said earlier about continuing with what I was doing previously. So a takeaway, now I know how much, for example, a curry is or something like that. It puts it in perspective of what you have day to day, rest of the time.
yeah,
And just weighing yourself on a regular basis as well, I guess, gives you a bit of a psychological, should I be eating that or not, booster,
yeah.
which all helps. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's the reason why I get you guys to do that. Like both food tracking and weighing regular, whether it's daily or 3-4 times a week, is just purely because of that reason, right? Because we all need to feel accountable to something, right? Or things just get too chaotic. So if you can build that into your day, build your own accountability into things, like your results are always going to be better. Like, unfortunately for humans, that's just how we are. Like if we're not being held accountable to someone or something, like the results just get, they just go all over the place. So, well, yeah. So, well, thanks so much for doing this, Dave. I appreciate you taking the time. You're looking very festive with your background, mate. So, well, yeah, no, I really appreciate your time, Dave. Thanks for sharing that with us, mate. And yeah, for everybody watching, yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll chat to you soon. All right.
cheers very
Thanks,
much.
everybody.